And now the 1-0. And that one up and in. So again, Diaz falling behind 2-0. Riker Scal yesterday had 2 doubles, a triple, scored twice, and drove in a run. He was our Heidemann Associates player of the game. Their win over Taylorsville yesterday. And that 2-0 is up and in, and count goes to 3 balls and no strikes. So now the 3-0. And that one in there for called strike 1. And you see Israel settle in here and battle back. So 3 balls and 1 strike. And that ball hit well by Scow in the left center field. It's going to get down, and that'll be an RBI single. And the leadoff double leads to a first inning run, and PG strikes first, and they lead 1-0. Number 17, Davis. So now bring up Caden Davis, a designated hitter. I want to apologize for our late start here. Dusty Lister with you here at Larry Miller Field. 1-0 the lead for Pleasant Grove. Tua Wolfgram had a leadoff double, then just driven in by Riker Scow. And it's 1-0 Pleasant Grove. We apologize that came in late. You will be able to, in the rewatch, be able to go see the top part of the inning to see that double and then the single. I certainly want to apologize. That was on me. Israel Diaz, a starting pitcher, and good throw, but a little late on the tag. And the runner takes second. Riker Scow. And that ball shot by Davis. Diaz fields his own position over to first for the second out.
The catcher, number 20, Tate Lewis.
So I'll bring up Tate Lewis. So runner at second base and 2 outs for Tate Lewis. And Lewis lifts that one up to the right side. Maxton Peck is there, and that'll be the 3rd out of the inning. For the leadoff double by Tua Wolfgram leads to the first run on the RBI single from Riker Scal. We go to the bottom of the first inning, and it's Pleasant Grove 1, Bingham 0. First time up for Bingham. You're watching the 2022 6A. Bottom of the first inning, and it's 1-0 Pleasant Grove leading Bingham. And a leadoff man for for Bingham is Gage Sunloff. And it's 2-0. Pitcher today, pitching this morning for Pleasant Grove is Is Gage Train. And that one misses, and that's a leadoff walk for Gage Sunloff. So throw over to first. I got to tell you, I got to hear a conversation in the press box. I think we might bring Jeff Clough on. We'll have a conversation on there. The head of he's running the tournament here for, and Coach. So I was getting something squared away. Is John Hatch coming to the plate? Is Hatch had himself a day yesterday against Riverton. Hit a solo home run in the first inning. And absolutely swinging a good bat. He had that moonshot double back on Monday. As Hatch had the home run, a single, reached on a walk, hits this one out of play down the right field line. And it's an 0-2 count here to Hatch. So, we mentioned Hat's been swinging a good bat at the double on Monday as well, as he is grounded time. And the 0-2, little submarine pitch finds the zone. The probably was 1-1. No, that was strike three. Everybody got a little confused there. Home plate umpire gave the sign. I was like, wait a minute. I thought it was 0-2. And it was. And Hatch retired for the first out of the inning. I should know. When we got an umpire run the scoreboard, it's going to be accurate. When a guy on the field gives the point, I start questioning everything. So Hatch down on the called strikes, and it brings up Maxton Peck. And Peck looks at strike one. But just to give us a little bit of kindling for a fire and a conversation we'll have later with Jeff Clough, we can't get rid of regions. But we'll get into that later. We can share our opinions on that. As there's a throw over to first. But Jeff's starting a great tournament. And I got to say, the setup, the 14 pot, this is the best baseball tournament that we've had. Better than the double eliminations and all the changing and chain moving around. This is far better. As that one misses wide. I think most people just can't read the bracket, and it confuses them, and then they get frustrated. But when they hear the logic around, I think we all get around. As Peck hits this one on the left side. Nice job making the play at short. The throw gets away, and Peck will advance to second on the throwing error. But Luke Blake did a great job of getting into the hole and getting the second out. So it'll be 2 outs, and Peck reaching on the fielder's choice. He'll be standing at second base. And that'll bring up Preston Jacobson. I'm going to go E4 in the book to put Peck at second. as Jacobson looks at ball one. I believe we got a 1-0 count, and that one's wide. Now 2-0. Oh, 1-1. I was fixing my book, and we all were looking down, apparently, on that pitch. So, 1-1. Hey, the third day of the state tournament, it's kind of like the third day of 2 days in football. Wednesday was always the toughest day. And you get through Wednesday, and it's all downhill from there. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner on second. And that ball lifted out of play, and it's a ball and 2 strikes.
For me, like I said, I don't mind you disagree.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a runner on second base. There's a speed up for Max. Well, it is Maxon because he has been catching most of this week and played first yesterday. A little mixed up. So that ball's bounced. The count even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Deuce is wild here with 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 1 on. And there's the bender, swung through strike 3. And through 1, it is PG 1 and Bingham 0. You're watching the 2022 6A State. So leading off the top of the second inning is Luke Blake, the shortstop, as he looks at strike 1. And the 0-1 in there for a called strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes. Hit well to short. Oh, English. How about that stab and a throw over to first? So we've seen some terrific plays at shortstop this week. We had the Derek Jeter-esque play last night in the Farmington game. Farmington went down and lost. They had 2 of the best defensive plays that you will see. One was a play out in right field by Romney. And the second was the terrific backhand leaping throw back over in time by Tucker Wall. That was just terrific. Intern Preston was supposed to cut that up and put it out yesterday. I don't know that he got to it. I didn't see it in the middle of the night. So I'll have to get a hold of Vince and see if Vince gets that up on our social media page on Instagram and Twitter. But Intern Preston's been slacking in his duties this week. Is that one in there? He evens the count at 1-1. So Ty Caldwell, the center fielder, the plate, chops this one to the left side. That one handled cleanly by Hatch on his way to first, and it's 2 up and 2 down. Diaz struggled with his control to start in the first inning. We're talking about giving up the run. And it brings up Hayden Zamboni. But as you'll hear me talking about all the time, you got to pitch to contact. These power pitchers, guys want to get a bunch of Ks, but pitch to contact, let your defense work behind you. In the later innings, it really pays off because they're just involved in the game. And Zamboni lifts this one in the right field, and that'll do it. 3 up and 3 down for the Vikings in the second. We go to the bottom of the second inning. PG leading 1-0. You're watching the 2022 6A. Bottom of the second inning. And we're leading off with the catcher, Boston Jacobs. As Jacobs chops this one foul. I'm pleased to be joined by, I don't want to call you tournament director, but UHSAA director, Jeff Clough.
Tournament director. Baseball's my guy. Baseball's my sport. So
yeah, that's where I was going.
We can go with that.
Not to be confused with Rob Cuff. So those of you that want to quote tweet us and put this thing out there, I mean, make sure that it's not Rob Cuff, Jeff Clough.
You know our jokes, right?
No.
Well, there were two brothers. They were both Cloughs. And they got in a fight, and one beat the L out of the other. And so you have Cuff and Clough.
Hey, that's the thing with the Litsters and Listers. One of them got mad and put a T in front of the S. And said, fine, I'll put a T in front of the S. That's why me and Zeus, the former wrestler,
right.
Alden Lister, we could be related.
That's true.
Knows, yeah.
Do your genealogy.
No, I have an aunt that does it all.
My dad does all ours.
Jacobs down on strikes and retired for the first out of the inning. But first, let's talk about the new format. I think it's terrific. I really enjoyed it. The best of three, the changes and different things. But a lot of changes going on at the Activity Association. I don't want to waste all. We'll talk baseball. You're an umpire. You know baseball, kind of. But this tournament has ran a lot better. What's the feedback from the baseball coaches on it?
Overwhelmingly positive. Few tweaks that we're going to have to make from year to year. Having to make Taylorsville play the last game of the day and then come back for the first game the next on Tuesday. We got to tweak that. But for the most part, year two into this, they're really positive about it. The first year it was released was the COVID year.
Right.
But I think as a general rule, most of the coaches feel like this is baseball. It gives them an opportunity to lose 4 games throughout the whole thing and still win a state championship, and that's positive.
Well, I think, too, is if you lose early, remember the old setup? I mean, I grew up in Carbon. We had some teams that could have. They won one state championship in the years I was there. Could have multiples. Go down to St. George, you go lose one game, and a team was really promising because that one hit back to the pitcher. Nice job at fielding his position. Yes, he's on the bag. Yeah, Maddox Peck retired for the second out of the inning. But when you lose that game, it's over, and there's no real opportunity. Or you had to come play a multitude of games, and then you had to win. You got to go take both games to go win the state championship. Now, granted, most will say, well, the best of 3 got to do the same thing. He's like, yeah, it's a little different feeling, though, when it's 0-0.
Yeah, I think so, too. You haven't had to win 7 games in 3 days to come through the bracket and get yourself a state championship if you lose in those pods, even in the first round. We've seen it happen a couple times, but it definitely doesn't have the same feel. And with 2 brackets, I know one of the points that a lot of our coaches are making is should we cross over the bracket
and have
between
loser drop down between the 2?
And the other one switch sides. I'm a purist, and so I think the overall concept is we keep it the way it is, and we stay on the one side to, the seed determines where you're at.
Right. Well, the seed has to mean something.
Correct.
Right. The seed needs to mean something. The crossover part I get because I want variety. You don't have to go back through that team again because they've seen your pitching, and that's just coaches wanting to coach.
Correct.
Well, not coach.
Correct.
Let's put that up.
Well, and I would say that especially if you get a tough draw, with difficult teams.
Who wants to beat AF twice?
Correct. That's the point. But the point of it is we've gone through the bracket with the regional, the super regional.
Yeah.
We get into bracket play, and it's a similar concept that it's a best of 3 series.
Right.
And so even though you've got 4 teams in it, you have the opportunity to have best of 3 series.
That lined out the first. We'll keep it here, though. That way we're not talking through any action. Dusty Lister and Jeff Clough at the Activity Association here. And there's a bunch of changes, and I think overwhelmingly really good. And I know lots of people want to bang on RPI. And I think one of my favorite things is stances. I remember when Rob Cuff, funny enough, I started doing swimming, and also that's when Rob and I would talk for 30, 40 minutes. And off the record. And he let me know, hey, I think we're going to go to this RPI thing, and we talked about it. And I love the line was, if we have to make adjustments, we'll adjust it. And it's my favorite part about it.
Yeah.
Because then everyone's like, well, what about the 4 out of each? I'm like, no, because it just changed. And when you had to alternate it, it was different. But RPI, have you seen it? We'll start with team sports more than anything else. The feedback, but not only that, some of the changes or tweaks we can see in the future.
Well, I mean, I think we've evaluated in each of the years. We started with a 40-40-20 percentage. This year we're at a 45-45-10. You saw the classification adjustment go from 6 different classification adjustments to now we only have 2. That was another factor. We just saw that when you do the raw data, you evaluate the raw data, that it's not really changing a whole lot, and so we just went with a more simplified version of the rating system. It's really about wins.
Right.
If you win and you play opponents who are as strong as you or strong, and you play in a strong region, you're going to be fine. It's the very reason why. And we were talking with somebody here in the press box, Brian Priest.
This is why we had to make sure we had the conversation.
Yeah.
I was dying. I was not probably calling my best first inning because I would have opinions on it.
Because you wanted to jump in.
I wanted
and be
in.
part
I
of
was
it,
like,
right?
wait.
But I think the issue is you have a Lone Peak and an American Fork, and who won region and what seed are they, and that controversy is never going to go away.
I got great ideas on that, by the way.
Do you?
Absolutely, because I think the region part's great, and I think there should be points awarded for winning your region, because then it would actually change that. Because then region does matter, and it's not, hey, I want to hang my hat on it. It's, hey, you won. If you win your region, you take the top 4 out of a region, right? Number 1, the champion, best record in region, the region play, gets a full percentage point bump. Second gets 0.75. Third gets 0.5. Fourth gets 0.25. Because then it does move around, and I don't know, you normally will get a second seed jumping a first seed if they get a full percentage point for winning their region, which I think helps scheduling. Because get rid of regions, we have some regions that really struggle to fill out their schedule, and it might change some stuff.
Yeah, so I think the argument there would be if you're giving a point to all the region champions, everybody's moving up a point, so their number's still the same.
But not within that region. You wouldn't have the 2.
No, you wouldn't within the region. But if you're a region, I think the problem you have with giving points to everybody is then you have a Kearns or a let's just use Kearns in football, right? Because that's a common discussion that we have all the time.
Right.
Kearns is a great football program. They've historically been in the 5, 6, 7 seed, right?
Right.
But where does Kearns finish in our playoffs?
I would have loved without the COVID year. There was a called strike 3. They had the year where that was a really good team.
They probably had their best team.
And there was a, hey, here we go, their best team since Jeremy Castro.
Yep.
And didn't get a chance to show it because they had some COVID situations and had to bow out. That's the tough part, because then you really would have known.
You would have known. I would agree. I'd agree.
But I agree with you. I totally understand the argument, because there's some other parts of that. Yeah.
You put them up and you move them up, and so what we have tried to have the philosophy that we're not going to allow human interaction into the RPI. The only thing that we're going to do is let the computer decide where we're at and let it shake out. Let's find a formula. Let's move on with that, and that's kind of where we've been. I think you could also, there are in places where you say, okay, if you're matched up against someone in your region, then you flip it. You play somebody that's not in your region.
Right.
So there's lots of different things that you could argue, but then again, that just takes away from the basic fact of what you're trying to do.
Because the other one, and I know Dane Stewart, if he's watching, he wants to make sure I mention it. So Dane's idea, because mine was a points award. Dane says, hey, go 14 or whatever your number is. So say it's 16. He has a number, the 16 teams, whatever. Here's our field's going to be 16. Region champions are auto bids, but you're seeded RPI. So wherever your RPI is, where you are. But you're auto bid in if you're a region champion.
Yeah.
Because even if your RPI says, well, you were 21, but I won my region, you're an auto in. So you get an advantage for having it. And again, more of that for me is scheduling, because I worry about certain schools not getting scheduled or areas that can get just hammered. If someone's like, I don't want to play them, I'm not going to go there.
There are plenty of schools like that.
Right. There's a lot of them. Say, hey, well, we got to find a way to help them with the schedule, buddy. But anyway, the auto bid in and RPI'd out. So you might win your region, and you could be the 16 seed. What about that idea?
I think for us as a staff, we're all open to all kinds of ideas. I think initially we came out with, we came out with the idea that, we didn't want regions to begin with.
I've heard that's why I won this conversation. You've got to interject this idea of, hey, let's figure out how to keep it, right?
So, but we have settled on that our schools have spoken loud and clear to us that they don't want that.
Really?
And so we went through a realignment process in our policies and procedures for our realignment, and that was one of the things we discussed in the realignment committee was, do we get rid of regions? Overwhelmingly, no. They don't want to.
They don't want to get rid of regions.
So we're running a hybrid model between the two right now, and it's not perfect.
Right. Not perfect. And that's why we just try to think, hey, what's inventive ways to create and keep it? Because really what you could end up doing, and it's just what we've seen here collegiately, we're one of the best rivalries in the country, and it's not every year.
Yep.
BYU Utah. And that's one of my fears. If you get rid of that part, the old regions know this, and now they're not in the same region now, and they had a pro attempt. You get rid of some of their natural rivalries. They say, I don't want to deal with the crowd issue. I don't want to deal with this issue. I don't want to deal with that issue. So we're not going to play. Because I think if you allow certain schools up on the hill area, and they say, hey, we want you to play, like, no, I'm not going to schedule them openly. Not a chance. And I think regionally, they say, no, you should. It's one of the great rivalries in the state. And I think it helps preserve some of the history and the tradition. So I think it's kind of hurt with all of our movement. There's not as much tradition to some of the stuff, and it hurts.
I agree with you. I think there's, and I don't know why I'm going to bring this up, but I'm going to bring it up. But the transfer issues that we have with kids changing schools. And so we have less investment in our schools.
Yep. Crowd size dwindling and student side dwindling.
Yeah, we have less kids attending our championship events and even games during the regular season. When you go to a high school game, they're just not as well attended as they used to be. And maybe because I grew up in Tooele. And you grew up in Carbon. Yeah. It was all we had to do, right?
Yeah.
So, basketball night was a big deal to us.
No.
And so I think it was. I think that's a big factor into what's happening.
Called strike three, and we'll turn over the side of the bottom third. I think this is a good conversation. I think people. I'm watching this. You're a high school sports fan, and everyone has an opinion on this. I think it's one of the more interesting things.
Yeah.
For the Activity Association, and most people don't get to hear this kind of conversation. Why I enjoy it. So we do the State of the Union address essentially with Rob Cuff once a year on our stuff because we want people to hear and ask Rob the questions. But I think it's interesting because that's one of the biggest fears I have. I'll be honest, just open because you and I are very open with one another.
Yes, we are. Yep.
Very mellowed out relationship over the years. Been very good.
Yes.
But I worry about that tradition part. And so when I hear what I've heard, like, hey, we're not going to have regions, we'll have a schedule meeting. I just cringe inside only because of that part. Because they're going to say, I'm not going to play that game anymore. If Tooele and Stansbury don't play every year, they might say, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
And if they're not forced to do it, they won't. And that to me hurts. That hurts. If AF and Lone Peak just say, we don't want to play anymore, that's a miss. That hurts Utah high school sports.
I agree with you. I think that is a problem. So one of the concepts that we presented to everybody is that the UHSA would take over all scheduling. That's what they do in the state of Arizona.
Okay.
So Arizona does all the scheduling.
Well, if you do that, then I want to be on the schedule committee.
Yep. So, we would need a couple more staff members.
You think about that? We would do a release like the NFL.
Yeah,
we're going to schedule release
throw
day.
it out, and then everybody would complain why they weren't on prime time.
Now you may have just you saw the light flicker.
I did. Yes, I did.
We'll start the bottom of the third inning with Dallin Martinez. He's the bunt back to the pitcher. Rule number 1 on bunting: your hands got to be on top of the ball. They drop, and
I will tell you, I umpire a lot of baseball, and people cannot bunt. This is a lost art.
That's the one thing I could do really well. I still could probably get down there and get a bunt down.
Me too.
I promise it.
We should go try it.
I used to play. We had when I coached at Helper, we played once a year. We bring back alumni from Helper American Legion to play against our current team, and all my guys knew. If they played back, I'm dropping it.
Yes,
well, it wasn't me bailing out. I was like, no, I think I can do it.
I think from a baseball perspective, he peeked down where the third baseman was playing.
Yep.
He's 10 steps behind the bag, and if he lays it down that direction, it's probably a base hit.
I'm an Angels fan, and Tyler Ward tries that almost every night. He did make it work last night in the win against the stinking Rangers. But back to our point on some of this. So let me ask you the next thing on the RPI. Out-of-state points. What's the way to help with that? Because I think as their ball hits sharply to the right side and Matt Ingles will be retired on the unassisted out at first, I think it's great that our teams are playing out of state and it's raising the profile of Utah high school sports. So you have like American Fort. I kept saying forever, they're not a true 12 seed. Their overall record might tell you in basketball that they were a 12 seed, or even the baseball team this year is 7, right? But the basketball team goes and plays. Duncanville was number 1 team in the country. They played Montford, who was number 1 team in the nation. They played, I think, Kimball, Texas, somewhere else in a different tournament. Either way, but you got Corner Kansas go play at Bishop Gorman. I think it's good that our teams are playing these schools to show them what they can do. But almost, how do you help it reflect in the RPI where it's not, I want to say a hindrance, but it doesn't help.
But it's not. I mean, it's not hurting them that much. It used to, but we've made an adjustment that it doesn't carry. It's half the value. It's not even half the value. It's like the adjustment is like 1.5 instead of a 2. So it has a small effect on it, but it doesn't have. So
win or lose is 1.5.
Right. So if you win, you times that win percentage by the classification adjustment of 1.5, and that's what that win is worth. And so it does have an effect, but it doesn't have near the effect. Really, where it has more of an effect than anything is on the opponent's win percentage, because those teams don't participate in the same max preps win-loss percentage information, so that doesn't have the same effect on it. It's a 500 average in the opponent's win percentage.
And that's what I was just curious, yeah, because one reason I ask it as an issue, one, because I want to be educated on it, and the next one is just like, hey, how does it work? Because just trying to help understand it. Because that's one thing. You have certain schools or certain programs that say, I want to win the RPI. And if we want to win the RPI, I'm going to lock down my state because I want the 1 seed, I want home field.
And there's quite a theory to winning that. And you know, if I'm a 6A school, I want to go play the best 5A school or 4A school and beat them. And then all year I'm going to benefit. And you hope that the team that you scheduled is going to be good. But, well, what if the team that you scheduled isn't very good and then it ends up hurting you all year because you beat them?
Because you're carrying them.
Because now you're carrying them. So, yeah, I mean, in theory, that's that. And we want to encourage, not that we want to say, not that our philosophy is to discourage schools from going out of state, because we're not discouraging that at all. But we definitely want the body of work to be placed on, and that's what the Max Preps RPI does, different than the UHSAA RPI.
Okay.
The power ranking is it takes on what's happening in previous years and everything else, and the power ranking of the school, where we don't have that in our RPI. It's just the body of work of the students who are on the team and who are participating this
year.
And
I like that too. Previous years, bupkis. Because you have plenty of coaches tell you, well, I don't care what we did last year. What did we do this year? And don't need that part of it. But I appreciate the conversation because, one, I think when anybody's watching this, I wanted to learn about why is the state tournament the way it was. I think most people just have a hard time reading the bracket. Because I know why I first looked, I'm like, wait, they're going to go here. And I was like, wait, what? And then I just remember it's 2 separate brackets.
It is, and the concept behind it is just the regional play, best of 3 series. We reseed after every round, and the way why do we reseed? The answer is we want the best team playing the worst team.
Right.
So whoever advances, we want the best team playing the worst team. They earned the highest RPI. They should be playing the lowest RPI. So which is not your typical standard bracket.
So are we going to see that put into other sports as well?
I don't think so.
Because the NFL does it.
Yeah.
Right? The NFL does the reseeding.
They do. Yeah.
You don't know your total bracket. By the way, we'll put that little plug in there for this year's state tournament. That was Scout put out there on a 3-1 put out. Nice job of getting over and covering his position. But seeing that redone, I don't think that's a bad thing. Basketball tournament's different, right? We pot it and you go and we're all used to
Sure.
But football is a different deal.
Yeah, it is. And we have some ideas that we're going to try to work on. You know, we have the introduction of 8-man football or 8-person football this year. I mean, that's a new.
If someone hasn't watched the Texas 8-man championship game, that is a blast.
It's electric. It's as close to 7-on-7 as you get.
It is. In Texas, they still play it at Texas Stadium. Well, now AT&T Field at Dallas Cowboy Stadium. But I travel quite a bit for work, and that ball caught in left field. And I'm sitting in a restaurant, and they re-aired it. This was in January. They re-aired all of them. So I sat and watched them. I had nowhere else to go. I had no point. I watched all the 8-man championship games. It was a blast. They shortened the field. They had the lower
80 yards.
When's that go? When's that start?
So this fall. We'll have 8-man football or 8-person football,
So, Club, Jeff, we appreciate your time.
Yeah, good to talk to you.
That.
We got lots of games left. If you want me to come back, I'm a talker.
Oh,
so.
let's do it.
Okay.
We can talk some baseball, too. So I want to thank Jeff Clough for jumping on with us here. As that pitch wide of the plate to Caden Davis. Or pardon me, this is now Tate Lewis. As Caden Davis flew out to left. And I'm sure PG fans hate to call the game, but you can see it as well. Want to make sure where we have access that we can share that as well. As that ball chopped to the left side. Hatch up with it, and got him. So PG retired in order, and we go to the top of the fifth inning, or probably bottom of the fourth inning. 1-0 PG. You're watching 2022 6A State Championship. Bottom of the fourth inning, and leading off is John Hatch, the third baseman. I mentioned Hatch has had a great 2 days here at Larry Miller Field. Home run, a double last night, a doubled on Monday. The submarine pitch chopped at the plate. The count even at a ball and a strike. And that went off, so 2 balls and 1 strike. So one chop foul, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So if you got thoughts on what you heard on Consolation with Jeff Clough, love to hear from you. Also, hit us up. Hit me up at Dusty Litster on Twitter, or you can also hit us up at GNL Rewind as well on Twitter and Instagram. And if you got questions and ideas, thoughts, I got the guys. We have the guys here, so we'd love to hear from you. Of course, Dana and I will do our yearly sit down with Rob Cuff that we normally do at the end of all the championships. We sit down with Rob and go through what's happening at the Activity Association. If you have things and questions you want answered there as well, or ideas we can throw out, we're happy to do it. And John Hatch's hot bat continues with the single. So nice job, a nice way to start the bottom of the fourth inning, and the tying run now on first base for Coach Joey Sato's Bingham Miners. Now bring up Maxton Peck, the first baseman who reached on a fielder's choice and advanced on an error back in the first inning. But it's amazing, a lot of the sports, spring sports, complete gap in coverage, and remember who guys are with 2020 and COVID. But our benefit that we had was that, in the state of Utah anyway, is that we had the Last Chance Baseball tournament that some parents put together and ran. It wasn't a terrific week of baseball, but it's amazing for me to remember that Maxton was a sophomore then, and seeing him play. Sadly enough, I think I covered his dad. And it was just a lot of fun. But now to think he's all grown up and senior year here for Maxton Peck. Same we talked about with Sam Beck yesterday, and the waves of that pitch, strike 2. Also fun to watch Max as soon as he got to the field today. Obviously put it out on his Instagram page, put on his story. He's at a home plate taking video. A ball wide of the plate, ball on 2 strikes. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, a runner on first base. And the fastball called strike 3. Caught the inner half of the plate, and there's 1 away. And of course, that Last Chance tournament, PG and Bingham both part of that, along with American Fork, who won it, and even put it up in the on their state championships. And also learned that Timpanogos did the same thing. Coach Kim Nelson and his T-Wolves won 2 games that day to beat Salem Hills. And that submarine ball finds the zone here on Jacobson. And the 0-1, chopped foul. No balls and 2 strikes.
Did my dad tell you what happened yesterday? Didn't he tell you? So we got in the car and Dad called and I'm like, oh my goodness. He's like, what? And I was like, I never got someone to open my chips. And he's like, what are you talking about?
And strike 3. 2 away. And another K for Gage Train.
And he's like, you see, didn't you get chips? I'm like, no, I didn't open them. He's like, oh my goodness, I'm calling Dad right now.
That is 4 Ks thus far for Gage.
Okay, thank you.
Quick snap over to first. Again, the winner of this game will play at 4:30 against Riverton. The team that loses is done for the year. That pitch misses inside, and it's a ball and no strikes. To Boston Jacobson, the catcher, went down on strikes. It is only plate appearance back in the second. The 1-0, chopped to short. Luke Blake up with it over to first in time. Oh, leadoff man got aboard, but he got stranded. We go to the 5th inning, and it's 1-0 Pleasant Grove. You're watching a 2022 6A. So Luke Blake got the last out of the inning. Comes back and will be the leadoff man. And that pitch in there from Diaz for strike 1. Luke grounded out to short. And his only plate appearance in the second inning. Looks at the 0-1. Hits that one sharply to left center field. And a leadoff man aboard for Coach Darren Henry. Had a fun conversation with Coach Henry this morning and asked him about his son, Peyton. Peyton, of course, had his number retired earlier this year. Coach McAllister gets his billionth win, and Peyton Henry had his number retired. It was quite the night at Valhalla. And Peyton could be playing against the Rockies this weekend, so Coach going to be able to go watch his son. Told me Peyton follows his team like crazy. And so Peyton, hopefully he's watching the stream today. Hopefully he's watching and enjoying it. One of my favorite things I've been able to do is a good friend of mine, Zach Kicken, played his good friends at Peyton, and I got to play Turkey Bowl with him. And one of the funniest guys I've ever played Turkey Bowl with, an absolute blast. Dude is hilarious. But a runner on first base and no outs. That one chopped to the left side. Hatch is there. Oh, they throw a little tall, so not going to be able to turn it. So Caldwell will reach on the fielder's choice. And Blake put away with the 5-4 putout. And that brings up Hayden Zamboni. That ball fouled to the screen. So ball and, or pardon me, 2 strikes here to Zamboni. And the 0-2 swung on and missed. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night for Hayden Zamboni.
The third baseman, number 6, Cooper Thompson.
And that is strikeout number 4 for Diaz. And that'll bring up Cooper Thompson. And that first pitch up in the zone. Thompson went down looking in his only appearance. And that one hit well into center field. And I think he trapped. Did he catch it? They say yes. Couldn't get a clear read on it. Coach Henry not arguing, so we'll go with it. Terrific job in center field by Luke Leatherwood. Flashing the leather. They go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Bingham looking the tire, take the lead. You're watching the 2022 6A State Baseball Tournament. So leading off the inning for Bingham is Maddox Peck, the right fielder. He was a winning pitcher on Monday. And that pitch, that caught a lot of plate. I've tried really hard not to argue balls and strikes from our vantage point, but that was, 2 balls and no strikes. So 3 balls and no strikes to Maddox Peck. And that one well. In basketball, we call that a make-up call. That's the block charge. You finally got the one. So 3 balls and 1 strike. I would dare say the accurate count. So 3-1. Hit to the left side. Nice job. Luke Blake goes down to get it. Throw in time. And Peck retired for the first out. Great play there by Luke Blake. And I'll bring up the center fielder, Luke Leatherwood, who just had that terrific catch to center field. And Leatherwood looks at strike 1. It's a ball and a strike. And in fact, I've messed up this week, and I didn't mention this, but always remiss to say, and it'd be a mistake if I didn't, to not think about as Leatherwood's. Oh, nice play. Tate Lewis able to take away that bunting attempt there from Leatherwood. And that's the second out of the inning. Great play there. Talk about pop time and everything else there by Lewis. Able to get after that one, looking like a young Alex Wolf out there. But anytime you see Bingham baseball, And I think of Coach Rasmussen. Always miss seeing him out there. Passed away a few years ago. One of my favorites. Had a summer where he came to our Tournament and helper and got to spend a week just getting to know him better. One of the good ones, and was a long-time assistant coach with Coach Sato. Won a state championship as a girls basketball coach at Bingham as well, and one of my absolute favorites of all the years, getting to know a lot of coaches. But I always miss seeing him out there. Well, Coach Sato. So 1-1, swung on, and it's a 1-2 count. That 1-2, they say yes, he did at the plate. And Dallin Martinez goes down on strikes for the third out of the inning. We go to the top of the sixth. PG clinging to a 1-0 lead. You're watching the 2022 6A State Tournament. Top of the order for PG, Tua Wolfgram. He is the only person to score in this one. A leadoff double and scored later as Israel Diaz since then has been dialed in. He's retired PG in order since the first inning. Wolfgram sends to the right side. Ball by Martinez. Got over in time. Nice job by Dallin Martinez. He just hung with that one. And be one away. I'll bring up Sam Haney. Yet to reach in his 2 plate appearances. And that ball hit well to right. Going back. And it's gone. Need an insurance run? There's your insurance run. Sam Haney with a solo shot to right, and it's 2-0 Pleasant Grove. We had Coach Haney on last night, the coach of Salem Hills, and we talked about how to pitch Caden Carpenter at that point. He said, hey, I told him off-speed stuff, get him on his front foot, and we talked about don't miss up. Because right after that, we saw Josh Rojas. Ball got left up, and Rojas hit that one 415 feet to left center field. And there, it's like, hey, you throw a fastball up, you're supplying power, and if you're the hitter, if he makes a mistake, you got to make that mistake hurt. And you saw that was a no-doubter from Haney. The ball went about halfway up that pine tree in right field. That's the one we heard that interview with Randy Johnson on the Dan Patrick Show about a month ago. And he talked about, I didn't need no legs of velocity. They talked about the famous home run with Mark McGuire. McGuire hit it off the back of the Kingdome. He said, I didn't need no legs of velocity. I heard it. I knew what it was. I was assuming what that pitch was. So Riker Scow coming to the plate, looks at ball one. Talking about the day that Scow had yesterday. 2 doubles and a triple. And looks at ball 2. When Coach Henry learned something, didn't go with the Kansas City Royals look. They lost on Monday. You usually don't bring that back into the rotation. They won in the blacks yesterday, so they're going to stay in the blacks for as long as they can today. And the 2-0. Wide of the plate, ball 3. So he's just more of the modern, mid-90s Royals. Now, if they were the black vests with the blue sleeves, knockout look. That was the Joe Randa, young Johnny Damon, young Zach Greinke, Kansas City Royals, when they were the farm system for everybody else. And a 3-0. called strike one. So 3-1 still putting in a box here for Riker Scow. Caden Davis on deck. The 3-1 from Diaz misses up and in. They got a man aboard. We'll see how long the leash is here from Coach Sato. As his hitters have not been able to decode Gage Train today. And that brings up the designated hitter, Davis. And that one, they caught the outer part of the plate for the strike one. Davis walked and scored a run yesterday against Taylorsville. But a quiet tournament from the dish in the 3 games we've seen from Caden. You know he's hitting this spot for a reason. Designated hitter. And for Diaz, he's worked down so he can get the ground ball. Oh, he took a square in the back. So runners on first and second. And 1 out for the Miners as Diaz has got to pull himself back together here. So a quick chat with Boston Jacobson, and we're ready to go. So that brings up Tate Lewis. And Lewis looks at ball 1. And that one misses up and in. And now Coach Sato going to come out and have a conversation in 2-0 count. And with this conversation, we'll give you a chance to learn more about our friends at Western Governors University.
College wasn't built for me.
I didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of you.
So we did have a pitching change as Porter Lindsay comes in for Israel Diaz. And it's a 2-0 count to Tate Lewis. Lewis, a .359 hitter, 29 runs driven in on the year, looking for another insurance run. Runner scoring position at second base, and that pitch is in there for a called strike. And just count to 2 balls and a strike. Lindsay looking for the ground ball. See if they can turn it and get out of the inning. Two-one. That one fouled down the right field line, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, and 2 on. And Lindsay steps off. The 2-2 hit well by Lewis in the left field. And it's too high, and there's a catch from left. Sunloff with the catch, and now Scow takes third on the fly ball from Lewis. If you know the movie, hit me up. If you don't, I feel sorry for you. But it wasn't a home run. And I'll bring up Luke Blake. And that pitch misses. So runners on the corners. Blake singled his last time up. This one into right field. And he retired for the 3rd out of the inning. So Lindsay comes on and gets the 2 outs. Bingham's bats have got to come alive. They trailed 2-0. As we go to the bottom of the 6th, you're watching the 2022 6A baseball. Here comes Matt English to lead off for Bingham as the Bingham fans that are here. They're getting a little loud, trying to make some noise, and now it gets the PG fans going. As that one misses. Matt English at the top of the order coming up. That misses inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. So PG added a run in the top of the 6th. And now the 2-1 from Train. And the count goes even at 2-2. And it's wide of the plate, full count. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Matt English. Only 1 plate appearance. That pitch is wide of the plate and the leadoff man is on. Only 1 inning today. Has Bingham had 4 plate appearances. And that was in the first. From it, first, fourth, and now the sixth. I apologize. As Gage Sunloff takes ball one. Sunloff's walked and flown out to left. Third baseman playing well in on the grass. Trying to take away any, as Bobby Valentine would call it, baseball plays. Some would call it small ball. Snap over to first, not in time. Two one. We might be. That ball hit to the left side. That's through. That's a tough part of that third baseman coming up on the grass like that, but I totally understand it. Now there's runners on first and second and no outs. The tying run on first and the go-ahead run now coming to the plate in the form of John Hatch. And I said this yesterday, with the way that Hatch has been swinging the bat here at Larry Miller Field, I don't know if there's anybody else that Bingham would want at the plate than number 5. Two on and the go-ahead run at the plate. Oh, the state tournament's fun. So corners up, middle's back. Here we go. Train gets the inner part of the plate for strike one. Hatch went down looking in the first. Singled in the fourth. Singles here, it's going to drive in a run. The 0-1. A little half-hearted swing, and it's 0-2. Got crossed up there. Hatch looking to slash. We're going to go with the board 2-2. Swung on, strike 3. Hatch went diving after that breaking ball. And there's one out. And I'll bring on Maxton Peck. And again for Bingham, it's... Well, I'm worried about the go-ahead. They need a run. So they get back in the 7th, only needing one run. So you're looking at it. You got him standing at second base. Brings up Maxton Peck. That's strike one. Peck reached on a fielder's choice back in the first inning. Went down on strikes in his second at bat in the fourth. And he held up there. I don't think he went. Oh, he said he did. Oh. So no balls on 2 strikes to Maxton Peck. The 0-2 fouled off down the line. So the check swing comes back there for strike 2. And again, the 0-2. Wide of the plate. Had one to burn. He still can stay secondary pitches here. 1 ball and 2 strikes. No reason to feed 44. If he's going to beat you in the next 2 pitches, Make it be on your pitch if you're Gage Train. Outside, going to steal third. Throw down. Not in time. He's safe. Well, that was close. Coach Henry can have a conversation. As close as it can get. They're asked Coach Henry to go back to the dugout as they have the conversation. Who wants batter interference? Remember yesterday, Tua Wolfgram heads up to the interference, but I don't know the. And they're going to keep it. Coach Henry not happy. So runners on second and third. The tying run now in scoring position. The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Maxton Peck. As good as it gets, folks. 1 out. And the 2-2 misses wide. The count goes full. So you mentioned he goes secondary pitches for those 2 to see if you get him to chase. Got a base open at first. And Preston Jacobson on deck. The payoff misses wide. And it'll be bases loaded. The Coach Henry can now come out of a conversation maybe with Train. He's telling him corners up. You want middles back. 1 out. You still got the double play ball in the middle. Third baseman gets a clean, come home. If not, take it go where it takes you. First base, same deal. Takes you toward the middle of the field. Pitcher's got to cover. And that'll bring up Preston Jacobson. And that's wide of the plate. Jacobson's 0 for 2 today on Train. Boston Jacobs on deck. And all of a sudden, Train unable to find the zone. She mentioned Train has been outstanding today coming into the 6th inning. First faced 4 in the first, 3 in the second, 3 in the third, 4 in the fourth, 3 in the fifth, and here we are on his 4th batter of the 6th, and there's strike 1. Two balls, 1 strike, 1 out, bases loaded. Strike 2. Mark Gubicek says all the time, hey, not look. You want to be up there looking for the home runs, looking for the single. Runner's going to freeze on a line drive. The payoff pitch lifted up. Is this going to get out of play? It will not, and it'll be Squoze for the 2nd out of the inning. Zamboni clears that one up. And it'll be 2 outs and the bases loaded.
The catcher, number 45, Boston Jacobs.
That brings up Boston Jacobs, the catcher. Yet to reach today. Third base back. Everybody back, keeping in front. On defense. Ball to the right side. It's going to get down. Here comes one. The tying run going to be held up at third. And it's a 2-1 ball game on the RBI single from Boston Jacobs. Just beautiful hitting by Jacobs. you tell him not trying to do too much. Let that ball travel, flip it in the right field, and it's a one-run game. Kind of shocked that Sinloff was unable to score on that. Absolutely. Didn't get a great read on it. Contacted 2 outs. Didn't see his jump on that. So now Maddox Peck comes to the plate with the go-ahead run 90 feet away. Peck yet to reach today. Took something off that, 71 miles an hour. Foul back to the screen. The 0-1 misses up, count even at a ball and a strike. The 1-1 lifted in the right field. And ranging back for the out is Tua Wolfgram. And it could have been worse for PG. Bases loaded, 1 out. They do surrender a run, but Pleasant Grove leads 2-1 as we go to the final inning. Winner moves on, loser is done for the year. You're watching the 2022 6A State Baseball Tournament on KSL Sports. So Ty Caldwell coming to the plate. The center fielder leading off for Pleasant Grove. Caldwell grounded out the third and reached on a fielder's choice. And flips this one to left field. I don't think there's going to be a play on that one. So falls to the turf. It's a long strike. Porter Lindsay staying on the hill for Coach Sato. Trying to keep this a one-run game to go to the bottom of the 7th inning. PG drove in the insurance run, that solo home run from Sam Haney. They bridge the hot bat with Haney and Scow. Here's a question as Caldwell looks at strike 2. And the 0-2 took something off it. And that one's going to get through. Caldwell rounds first, heading into second. And it's a leadoff double. Had to go underneath Peck's glove. And that brings up Hayden Zamboni. Jacobs can come out and have a little chat with Lindsay. Make sure he stays calm. It's a pretty decent pitch. Zamboni yet to reach today. And that ball fouled off down the line. Shows bunt. Here comes the crash. And Zamboni Fouls that one off. So it's 0-2. We come to the seventh, bottom of the seventh inning, 7-8-9 due up for Bingham. 7-8-9 here for Pleasant Grove. It's the 8-hole hitter, Hayden Zamboni. Swung on and he said foul ball. He ticked it. Oh no, it was a balk, pardon me. Zabak will advance the runner to third. So infield up, try to cut down the run at home. Zamboni's job, just get the ball to the outfield. Does PG need that extra run? The 0-2 from Lindsay. Chopped foul. Again, the winner will move on to play at 4:30 today. They take on Riverton. And the 0-2. Zamboni puts this one in left field. And that's an RBI single. It always holds true. If you can get production out of the last third of your lineup, spells great things for you as a team. And both teams have to go through 7-8-9. 1, PG to put this game away. 2 for Bingham to try to extend it. And a terrific top of the seventh. Caldwell, the 7-hitter, doubles. And then brought in by Zamboni, the 8-hitter. And it is 3-1 PG. We'll have a pinch runner. Didn't catch the number there. So Cooper Thompson comes to the plate. We'll look back over. So it's Van Haney, the 9th grader, the pinch runner. Oh, he's got a family member watching the stream. That ball is a little early on that one. Down the left field line. The intense moments here in the final inning of this one. Coming up at, well, the next game, scheduled for 1:30. Fremont and Farmington, the rematch of our first game on Monday. The business to do here. The 0-1. Swung on a miss, strike 2. And Cooper down to his final strike. Lindsay looking for the ground ball. Top of the order coming up next. I don't know if we had the As Peck came into the dish here, I might have spoke earlier on that ground ball from Caldwell. Didn't see the change there. So no balls and 2 strikes to the 9-hole hitter, Cooper Thompson. And that ball fouled off, and we'll stay here at 0-2. Let's share the conversation between the umpire and Cooper Thompson there. And here we go. No balls, 2 strikes, and runner on first. And that one misses wide. 1 to burn. Ball and 2 strikes. Last 2 innings, PG been able to pick up an extra run. Love to get another if they can, obviously. As that one snapped over. Haney hit the solo home run last inning to make it a 2-1 game. Pleasant Grove had bases loaded, Bingham had bases loaded and 1 out, was able to drive across 1 run. And if you're just tuning in, we had a leadoff double from Caldwell, and he was driven in by Zamboni as Cooper Thompson goes down on strikes for the first out. And to the top of the order we go. Tua Wolfgram coming to the plate. Tua doubled and scored in the first. And would love to pick something up here. Lifts this one down the left field line, and it'll get out of play. The flag is still in center field, but yesterday we had some interesting wind stuff and never wanted to get ahead of that. We had a ball in the Lone Peak game. I thought for sure was going to get out of play. Caden Hodson ended up landing just inside the left field line. And the 0-1 misses wide. He evens the count of the ball and a strike. So pinch runner Van Haney at first. As Wolfgram going to put this one in the left field. Haney be held up at second base. And there's now 2 on for the Vikings. As coming to the plate is Sam Haney. Hit this solo shot in the 6th. As we'll have a quick conference. And now Coach Sato will come have a conversation as well. So they have that conversation. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the 2022 6A State Tournament. So welcome back in. Pitching change for Bingham is going to be Austin Wheeler. So he comes in to face the left-handed hitting Sam Haney, go lefty on lefty. The movie character Billy Bean says he didn't care about lefty on lefty. But Coach Sato does. Mentioned Haney hit the solo shot last inning. He swung a good bat here at Larry Miller Field. He'll have a chance to extend the lead for the Vikings. Now take something off that from Wheeler. In there for a called strike one. He has 64 miles an hour. The 0-1. That one misses down, evens the count of the ball and a strike. It was an up in the zone fastball that Haney hammered into the trees in right field. He'd have to supply a little bit more of the power on this one. That one bounced, or that one's in there for a called strike. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Haney. Double play ball still in order for the Bingham defense. And for a base runner, he's going to freeze on a line drive, see the ball through. Going to get doubled off to end the threat and the inning, as that one's well off the plate. Evens the count at 2-2. Riker Scow on deck, and he too swinging a good bat. He has an RBI single in this game. And now the 2-2. Misses wide, the count runs full. Good at bat here from Haney. Three balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, and 2 on. The payoff. Misses down and going to walk the bases loaded. And I bring out Coach Sato again. We'll take a quick break and learn more about our friends at Western Governors University.
College wasn't built for me.
It didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Test day's test day. Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
Tests on your time. Courses on your time. Graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of VU.
College wasn't built for me.
It didn't care if I had to work a double shift.
Or if my kid had a fever.
Deadline's a deadline.
I want to set the deadlines.
I want to take tests when I'm ready.
I want to take courses on my time.
And speed up when I know my stuff.
I want a university that cares about me.
Tests on your time. Courses on your time. Graduate on your time. WGU, the nonprofit university of VU.
Again, if you got any law needs, any questions, you get a living will and trust set up, maybe you can get your business in order or some other things you're curious about when you get done, go to our friends at Hyndman Associates, Utah.law. Find a law office nearest you. If you can't get into one of the offices, Justin will do a phone call or video call with you. But we have a pitching change again for the Bingham Miners. There's Gage Vance coming in to throw, and it's Riker Scow coming to the plate for Coach Henry and the Vikings. Off speed, up the middle, 6-4. 3, got him in time. Tailor-made double play, but PG plates an insurance run. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Pleasant Grove leading by 2, 3-1. Bingham coming to the plate. You're watching the 2022 6A State Tournament. Bottom of the 7th inning. It'll be 7, 8, 9 coming to the plate for the Miners. Luke Leatherwood, the center fielder, will lead things off. Train remains on the mound, and they get strike 1. Gage only allowed 3 hits today. A little check swing from Leatherwood. Got some speed. The throw, not in time. That was close. Riker Scott was playing deep on the right side. Little Willie Mays Hayes action there. And had a chance to get there. And Leatherwood had enough speed to get there. Make it a tight play, and he gets the benefit of the call. So leadoff man aboard. And the tying run come to the plate. So Easton Clausen going to pinch hit for Dallin Martinez. Oh, that's in there for called strike 1. And that one misses down. It was on the plate, but it was down. The 1-1 waved on and missed. 1 and 2. Leatherwood away from first, pretty close. Need a good secondary lead. And yes, he did at the plate. And Leatherwood holds up at first and 1 away. Train getting close to the pitch limit. They're going to throw 110 pitches in a day. And this will be pitch 100. As Matt Ingles comes to the plate. Top of the order coming up next. And he looks at ball 1. And that one inside, gets all the way back to the backstop, can advance the runner to second. Coach Henry telling his catcher, hey, you're okay. Not worried about the runner to second. They don't want the guy at the plate to get on. There's a 2-0 count. The 2-0. Now 2-1. The 2-1 lifted into right center field. Going to get down. Leatherwood coming around third. And it's a one-run ball game. Matt English with an RBI single, and it's 3-2. We talked about it before so many times, 7, 8, 9. What are they going to do? Just like in the top of the 7th inning, the last 3 come through big. Leatherwood with a leadoff single. And then the 9-hitter English drives him in. Sunloff looks at strike 1. Game time run on first. This ball lifted in the infield. Luke Blake goes back and squeezes it for the second out. So Bingham down to their final out. And that'll bring up the third baseman, John Hatch. Hatch been swinging a good bat. He is 1 for 3. He's the game-winning run. Train off the plate. Gage Train looking for the complete game. He will be able to finish Hatch even if he gets beyond the 110. He gets complete the at-bat. The 1-0. Misses inside. Ooh! Strike 1. We'll go to the umpire. I'll stop guessing. So ball on a strike. He held up. 2-1. Remember, there's no definition on a check swing. He definitely held up. Everyone says a bat and break wrist. That's not it. Hatch looks at ball 3. It's almost like it's the over the back call in basketball. There's no such thing as over the back. It's a loose ball foul. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Hatch. It's the bat that Bingham wants. Lifts this one to right field. Ranging over. Wolfgram squeezes it, and PG is going to move on to play at 4:30. They hold on 3-2, and they knock out the Bingham Miners. What a fun game. Well played. 2 terrific teams, great coaches. And what you love is that it was close. And for PG, in moments they needed their best at-bats, they got their best at-bats. Up 1-0, needed the insurance run. Haney hits a solo shot. Bingham comes back to get a run. PG comes back, needed an insurance run again, and they did it, manufacturing it. And they take this one 3-2 to move on to play at 4:30 against Riverton. Our Heineman Associates player of the game. We're going to go Gage Train, obviously. The pitching performance was spectacular, and we're going to go with Sam Haney with that solo shot. Really is the difference, because he hit it. We'd be going extra innings right now, and it wouldn't be a loss for PG. Haney was big. Oh, that was fun. Our final score, once again, PG 3, Bingham 2. PG moves on to play at 4:30 today. We'll be back right here as they'll be taking on the Riverton Silverwolves and a chance to move on to the 6A State Championship Series. What a fun morning. Again, we'll be back here in 30 minutes, so about 1:45 is when the next game will be starting. And we'll have it for you right here on KSLSports.com, your home for online championships. Again, our final score, Pleasant Grove 3 and Bingham 2. For Addison Kerr, I'm Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us for watching Game Night Live Rewind's coverage of the 2022 6A State Championship Baseball Tournament on KSLSports.com, your home for online championships. Back in 30 minutes.